Okay, we're recording. So exactly a year ago today, I turned in my resignation to my principal, and then I was able to put out to the world that I was walking away from my teaching job, my 5-year teaching job to pursue my passion full time. And I want you to know that would have never ever in a million years been possible if I hadn't been consistently attracting business builders to my business. Let me just give you just a little bit of a comparison. I can remember my very first year, or my very first month as a coach. I hit Success Club 28. That's high. Like, that's really, really high for your first month. I rarely hit Success Club 28 now. But I worked super hard my first month, and I made around like, I don't know, 650 or something like that. Fast forward about 9 months later-ish, and I had hit like Success Club 20, but I was making in the 2000s for that paycheck as compared to in the summer when I had helped more people, but I didn't have a team behind me that was generating volume for me, a team beside me that was pushing for the same goals as me, and my income changed dramatically as I began to grow a team of women who had the same vision and same mission as me in this business. And I've been able to see my income consistently grow and my impact consistently grow as I've been able to attract business builders. Now, you've probably heard us talk a lot about discount coaches, and discount coaches are wonderful. Discount coaches are a great way as a stepping stone to build your business, but that's not your goal, you guys. Your goal is not to get 15 discount coaches underneath you, because they're not working for the same thing that you're working for. And they're not trying to build an income, and they're not trying to make an impact like you are. And there is nothing better. I'm telling you, helping customers is really cool. But when you're able to start helping women who have a mission and a vision like you, or even if it's different than yours, but you still know that they have this dream on their heart and this business could possibly help them get there, there's nothing better in this business than that. And then on top of that, you start hosting team retreats, you start traveling together. Like, it is a game changer when you begin to attract those business builders. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, there is no secret sauce to attracting business builders. It is down and dirty, and it is work. And that's what we're gonna talk about tonight. We're also going to reflect on the month of February. And I want to say, no matter how you answer these questions, we are moving forward in March, okay? Because I have a lot of reflection questions for you. And I just have this feeling that when you answer them, you're going to be like, dang, no wonder I didn't attract as many business builders or any business builders last month, because I wasn't doing these really important things. So let me share my screen with you. You might want a piece of paper if you're that kind of person. Or I don't care if you just think about it, but it actually really may help to have a piece of paper, or like just do it on your phone. But to record your answers probably would be helpful. Oops, I don't want to do that. Present. Okay, can we see my screen? Sweet. Okay, so attracting business builders. We're just going to start with a bunch of questions, and it might take you a minute, so you can tell me if I'm going too fast. Okay, I want you to go to your Instagram account right now. Get on your phone, go to your Instagram account, and count the number of posts you made last month about coaching. And when you have your number, I also want you to put it in the chat box. No shame, you guys. If it's 0, it's 0. If it's 20, it's 20. The first step is recognizing where you are in your business. I'm going to wait till I see a good number in the chat box, and then I'll go on. Okay, I'm seeing several answers. So I want to go ahead and tell you, whatever it is, and I said this at the beginning, whatever it is, whatever your answers are, there's no guilt here. We're just learning. Okay. This is just like, I want to compare it to the scale. Like if you've done 2B mindset, there's no guilt when you hop on the scale. It's just a number that you're learning from, to go from, and to like collect data to see what you need to do moving forward. So record this either in the chat box, on your phone, on a piece of paper, it doesn't matter. And then I do actually want you to write down, what's your goal for March? How many posts do you want to put out there about coaching in the month of March? I don't have a number that I try to hit every single month, but I will tell you that in the second half of the month, I post about coaching several times a week. So I don't know how many times I posted about coaching in the month of February. I didn't count for myself, but I would say it's around 10. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying, if you want to be attracting business builders consistently, you've got to be talking about coaching consistently. So make you a goal, make it realistic, and make it more than February if you're unhappy with the number from February. Second question, did you invite to a sneak peek in February or run one for yourself? Simple, yes or no. Coach webinar, behind the scenes, whatever it is that you call that. I want you to answer this in the chat box as well. And then if you're on a piece of paper or your computer or whatever, did you invite to a sneak peek in February or run one for yourself? And then the question is, what's your goal for March? Is that something that you want to make a goal for March? Do you want to invite to your upline sneak peek? Do you want to do a sneak peek with a few of your own coaches? Do you want to have a small pod of women from here that you pick to do a sneak peek with? Maybe it's your first one ever.
I have a question. When you
Yes.
sneak, is it like sneak peek into coaching or like?
Yes.
Okay. I
Yep.
just want to clarify on that.
And a goal for March, really, it's just one. Like sometimes I do 2 a month, but usually I'm just doing one, and I kind of do it differently every single time. We'll kind of talk about that a little bit later. Number 3, how many coach invites did you send in the month of February? And I mean like in the inbox, and you do not have to go through your inbox and count. You don't have to go anywhere and count. I just want you to give a good did I give it a good effort? Did I do 50 to 100? Did I do 0? Did I do 10 to 15? How many do you think you got into their inbox and you invited them to the coaching opportunity? Go ahead and put that in the chat box. Okay, so what is your goal for March? How many coach invites do you want to send out? And I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. If it's anywhere under 50, it's not enough. And that's probably a low number. If you want to build this business and if you want to attract people to work this business, you better be inviting them. And I'm telling you, you know how many invites you have to send to get people into your challenge groups. We've learned that in this month. We've invited 100 a week. And how many people ended up committing? Coaching, I would say you can cut that number in half just because people are a lot more willing. There are a lot more people out there who want to work out and get healthy at first, then are willing to commit to being a coach. So you have got to send out way more than 5 to 10 coach invites. You just have to. And I'm going to show you some coach invites. I think that you probably have a lot of fears in doing this, but I'm telling you, it is a non-negotiable for you. If you're trying to build an income and you're trying to build a business and you're trying to attract business builders, you will never do that by inviting 10 coaches a month. That is not it's impossible. And I can tell you that because I've been inviting gosh, I don't even know. I don't know how many coaches I invite a month, but it has to be 50 to 100 for me. It just has to be. And I'm going to show you how to make it. You're probably like, oh my gosh, 50 to 100 coach invites a month. Like, what? I'm going to show you how simple it is. You don't have to freak out about this. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to take you 15 minutes per invite. Okay, next question. How many business builders did you attract in February? So I'm asking how many business builders committed and how many business builders are you now mentoring because they signed up with you in February? And put that in the chat box. Seeing lots of zeros, lots and lots of zeros. And I'm not pointing that out to make you feel like, oh my gosh, I didn't do my job last month. That's not it at all. It's the same as the scale. Like I said before, we're using these numbers to look and reflect and grow. However, I'm going to be really honest with you. You should not feel good about zero, and your goal each and every month needs to be something, and you need to make sure you're hitting that goal each and every month. That way you are consistently building your business. And this type of business, you can't like attract 10 people and then rely on those 10 people forever. It's so, you guys, I had a 1-star diamond quit. Like, people will quit on you, and that's okay. Like, we get to have them for a season, and that's okay. But if you're trying to build a sustainable income, you will not do that by attracting 0 business builders a month. So my goal is actually pretty small every single month, because I want to make sure that I can mentor them in the following month and make sure I can help them hit Success Club the following month and answer all of their questions, because I want a brand new coach, especially a business builder who's ready to like take off and ready to make an income. I want to be in contact with that person so often that I'm ready to not be in contact with them anymore. I want them to ask me so many questions and blow up my phone so much that I have to put my phone away from me because they need me so much. That's what I mean by mentorship. And that's why I keep my numbers pretty small as far as how many business builders I'm adding. I did add a lot of discount coaches this month, but my personal goal for business builders, people that I'm going to mentor, is 3 to 5 usually. So write down a goal. What is your non-negotiable goal for March? How many business builders are you going to attract? And I would say this is just as important as your goal, your non-negotiable goal for Success Club. For me, my non-negotiable Success Club goal is Success Club 10, and I will work and work and work. I would not let a month go by without hitting Success Club 10. I'm not going to do it. And it's the same with business building coaches. I am not going to let a month go by without attracting at least 2. Like, that's my bare minimum, is 2. And will there be months that you don't hit your goals? Heck yes. Like, there will be those months, but you still make that a non-negotiable and work for that. Okay. Enough reflecting. Well, maybe not. You'll probably still reflect a little bit, but I want you to use those numbers not to shame yourself, not to guilt yourself, but like I said, as a resource to say, okay, here's the mark I'm hitting, or here's the mark that I want to hit, and here's what I did in February that does not reflect the goal that I want. Or maybe you are really happy with all of the numbers and all of the things that you put out there. Continue that and continue making that a goal and continue making that a non-negotiable so you can consistently grow your business. Okay, so just like health and fitness, just like whenever you're trying to attract to your challenge groups, you've got to post about health and fitness, right? You've got to post your before and after results, and coaching is the same way. If you want to attract business builders to your business, you've got to talk about it. You've got to talk about the fact that you are running a business. And yes, call it a business because that's what it is. And pick a few things that you feel like are your pillars of coaching. I'm just going to call it that, your pillars of coaching. What are the things, what does coaching mean to you? And how can you talk about those consistently to attract other women to this business? So I'm just going to give you a few of my ideas. These are, these are all my coach posts they're all from this month for me. I made all of these this month about coaching. So the first thing I always talk about, and some of these I'm going to tell you, you should add to your list. And the first one is income. So I am extremely diligent about talking about paying off my debt because I have paid off, insert income disclaimer, $30,000, you guys, $30,000 of student loan debt with coaching by itself. And if you don't think that's possible for you, whatever it is that you need that $30,000 for, you're crazy and you're limiting yourself. Yeah, it's been over. Somebody's not on mute. It's been over 2.5 years that I've been earning this income, but you guys, $30,000, I would have never in a million years been able to do that without coaching. And that's what I wrote in this post. I wrote about my real raw feelings when I looked at my debt for the very first time. I had no idea. I was going to owe $51,000. And before those loans hit me in the face, I was like, what am I going to do? How are we going to pay for these loans? And insert coaching. And that's what that post was all about for me, is how coaching has completely changed our financial situation, because I never, ever would have paid off that much if it hadn't been for this business. The second thing I post about a lot is flexibility. And what does that look like for you in this season of your business? For me, I get to post about flexibility in a new way because I used to be a teacher. And before, that meant I don't have a second job where somebody else tells me what time to be there. I could work on my second job whenever the heck I wanted. And now flexibility for me, and that's what this post was about, was I can grow a baby and a business from home, and it's great to be a woman in 2020. Like, it was such a short and simple post, but it got so much engagement, and so many people liked it because it was short and sweet, and it did show the power of coaching in my life. The third thing is vision. You've got to post about your vision with your business and growing your team. I will say, when I was in the position where I was just beginning to actually grow my business and look for business building coaches, I was probably 9 months in. I waited way too long. Do not wait 9 months to start posting about your vision and start to attract business builders. I waited too long. Learn from me. So I'm posting about, what do I see in my future? What do I see coaching doing for me and a team? What team of women am I looking to help? Who do I see surrounding myself? Like, when I close my eyes, and I want you to do this, you don't have to do this right now. At some point, you have got to envision yourself as a leader of lots of women, because that's what it is when you begin to grow your business. You are a leader of lots of women. Who is around you? What jobs do they have? What personalities do they have? What are you doing? Where are you staying? What kind of women do you want to stay with when you go to Summit and you're the one that's the leader who purchased the house? What do you want to be doing? What kind of women do you want to stay in an Airbnb with in the middle of Branson, Missouri? That was my retreat a couple months back. What do you want to be doing? Do you want women who are going to go with the flow like you do and not have a plan, but make a plan and make it the best, most awesome weekend ever because you're all so much alike that you had just a blast? What are you putting out there? Who are you trying to attract? What vision do you have? What kind of freedom do you want to help this team of women create? And post about that really, really often. When I began to post about my vision, and when I began to post about the team that I didn't even have yet, they began to come to me. And I use my uplines team as my vision for what I wanted to create. You have a strong upline. I don't even have to wonder, because it's either, you are either part of my downline or Haley's. So I know that you at least have an upline who is working her tail off. You have one that's full-time. Haley's going to be full-time eventually. You have a team of women. Look around right here. This is your team. Team Beachbody is your team, for goodness sakes. Use the energy that you feel from your uplines team and from Team Beachbody as a whole to post about your team. And women who are attracted to what you're saying, they're going to want to be a part of your tribe. I can guarantee it. I attract most of my business builders whenever I'm doing something that involves Team Beachbody stuff, like team retreats, Super Saturdays, Summit, the Success Club trip, because people are attracted to that positive vibe that Team Beachbody has, and you've got to be talking about that. The other 3 ways that are really important to me, and this pretty much covers how I post about coaching. Community. I talk about what this community does for me. You guys, I couldn't put it into words if I tried, and I want you to seriously think about, if all of this vanished tomorrow, what would you lose? If you didn't speak to one person that you've met through coaching ever again, starting tomorrow morning when you wake up, what does life look like now? What have you lost? And use that as your inspiration for your post about this community, because I don't want to imagine that. I can't imagine waking up tomorrow and all of you being gone. I just can't imagine that. The next thing is fun. We have a fun job. We have a really, really fun job, and you need to take advantage of everything that you get to do for live events. And that's what I really mean when I talk about fun. You need to go to Summit. If you plan on building a business and you're not going to Summit, you're crazy and you're not serious about building a business. Sign up for Summit. It will be a game changer. And you'll post about it the whole week, and you're going to attract business builders because they're seeing what this is all about. If you are making it to the Success Club trip, or if your goal is to go to the Success Club trip next year, you better be posting about it. You better be talking about the people who are going this year and highlighting that and saying, I'm going to be there next year. If you go to a team retreat, you better highlight that. If you have fun with your team whenever you're at home and you're just hanging out virtually, you better be talking about that. I don't know about you, but fun is a huge thing for me, and I love that we get to have so much fun with coaching. And then the last way I talk about coaching a lot is my own health, because I know coaching is that extra layer of accountability I needed to get my health in check. And I made a post about how I'm 13 weeks pregnant. No, I'm not. I'm 14 weeks pregnant. So I made a post at 12 weeks that basically was like, if I hadn't started 2.5 years ago as a coach, there's no way I would have worked out through my first trimester. So not only has coaching changed my health completely, there's a whole story about how it's changed my health, but in a new season of life, it's still impacting my health in a ginormous way. And it's because of coaching. I would not be this held accountable. I would not be this dedicated if I was just a challenger. I just wouldn't. I needed to be a coach to hold myself accountable, and that's what I talked about in that post. However, the bottom line is this. When you post or talk about coaching, they always, 100% of the time, need to know that this opportunity is for them. It cannot be you just bragging about coaching. It cannot be you just talking about all the wonderful things about coaching, because a brand new follower has no idea that's for her. And hopefully your social media is growing consistently. Yes, I know it grows slowly sometimes, but you also have to know those people who've been following you forever. They don't follow every single thing you say. They don't follow every single story you post. They don't follow or like every single post or even see every single post you make. So you have to be very diligent that you're always saying that this opportunity is not exclusive to you, that it is for other people. That's a very important piece to this. Okay, I am not going to read these to you because you don't need me to. You can read. However, I have this saved on my drive, and I can share it with Haley. My team already has it, but these are coach invites, you guys. This is what I use, and I fill these in every single time I'm sending coach invites out. But the important thing for me is I'm always inviting to something, and I'll get there in a second, but I'll give you a few seconds to just look over these. This is how I invite to coaching. It doesn't take me forever. It's very quick. Notice I ask a question, or I say, would you want to come to this or that? I always end with a question. And for the most part, I copy and paste. I change their names, but I copy and paste because this is exactly what I would say. I don't need to rewrite it 100 times in a month. I feel really good about what I say and people respond to me. So that's how I do it. You've got to get in their inboxes. If you post about coaching every single day and you never get in inboxes, you are still never going to attract business builders. It's the same way with like getting people into your challenge group. You could post amazing results every single day for a year, and you would not even scratch the surface of how many people you could attract had you been getting into their inboxes. And coaching is the same way. Sure, you'll have those unicorns. I wasn't invited. I came to my coach. But I have very few women who have come to me as business builders who I didn't get into their inbox somehow. You have got to, like a non-negotiable. You have got to invite to coaching every single month, 50 to 100. And that might be low. I don't know. I've never actually counted how many I send out, but I go crazy in the last 2 months inviting to coaching. Because you guys, that's the biggest part of our job is inviting people and having conversations about either helping them with their health goals or helping them build a business. Like that is the meat of the work that we do. And the bottom line for that is you will never, and I mean never, you will never attract business builders, at least not enough to grow a full-time income if you don't invite them. You just won't. So just some quick information, sneak peeks, info sessions, webinars, whatever you want to call it. They are extremely important. I find them, well, I'll get there in a sec. So I have seen them done 3 ways, and I'll tell you my favorite is Zoom, just like this. We get on, I've done it several different ways. I've done it by myself. I've done it with some of my coaches. I've done it with like my sister coaches. I've done it a lot of different ways. Zoom feels the most natural to me. People can ask questions. It's live. I love it. I've done it in Facebook groups where you do it with 3 people. Each of you do different live videos. You can do it on your stories where you take a story takeover or any of the other 100 things that you've seen coaches do. Really, it doesn't matter what you do. As long as you're doing it and you're doing it on a consistent basis so people know that you're offering it. But I do want to tell you, it's not as much about getting people to sign up as business building coaches as it is these other things. So number 1, you get super comfortable speaking about coaching. And every single time you hop on a sneak peek and you share your story and you hear your teammates share their stories, you are fired up. So fired up about the coaching opportunity that the next day you don't even think about it, and before you know it, you've sent out 50 invites in a day because you were so pumped up from the night before, because you remember what coaching has done for you when you talk about it consistently, especially like this. Second thing, you become a leader when you step up and you say, okay, I'm doing this business and I'm going to attract business builders. I'm going to invite them. That is you taking action to be a leader. And the next thing is you create leaders. Once you have the, what's the word I'm looking for? You have the motivation to run your own and you have a few leaders on your team, you get to bring them along. I used to do coach sneak peeks with my upline. And because of that, she created a leader in me. And now I do sneak peeks with people in my downline. And guess what? They are leaders, and now they're starting to do coach sneak peeks on their own. It is a really big deal to get yourself and your business building coaches talking about coaching. And then my last reason I do them is because it is so much easier, so much more natural, so much just a normal conversation to invite a potential coach to something. You're inviting her to an event to come listen and to come learn. And even if she doesn't come, you'll have a recording and you can send it and you can have a conversation. It is really hard for me to invite to coaching if I just say, hey, you ever thought about being a coach? Like, that's just a weird thing for me to say, in my opinion. So I'm always inviting to either a sneak peek or my mentorship. Like, I'm inviting to something specific the same way that I invite to a specific thing, my challenge group. I want to invite to something specific to get business builders too. And it's proven to work really well for me. Okay. the last thing for me is I just want you to know there has to be a flow, and you need a pipeline to get people onto your team as business builders. So number one, you've got to consistently talk about coaching. If you don't consistently talk about it, and if you don't consistently invite to it, you will never grow a team of business builders. I can guarantee you that. Second thing, you've got to create a post flow that works for you. And what I mean is a post flow to talk about coaching. I talk about coaching way more the last 2 weeks of the month because I do challenge group invites the first 2 weeks, coach invites the second 2 weeks. And then every Thursday I talk about paying off debt and like team calls. I'm usually posting about team calls. Random times I'll show when I sit down and work, but I have a posting flow when it comes to coaching. Otherwise it's really easy to forget about it. Like, we are health and fitness coaches. We attract to our challenge groups. That's what's on the forefront of your mind, especially in the beginning of your business. But at some point it has to switch, and you've got to start talking about coaching as consistently as you talk about your challenge groups. And then lastly, I'm going to throw it over to Haley, is creating a pipeline from customers to coaches. And I will stop sharing.
Okay, so I don't have much because that was amazing and there's not much more I could add to that. But I am a little different from Paige, to where I would say 90 to 95% of my coaches have come from being a challenger first and come from my challenge group. So like Paige said, creating that vision for challengers, it's so important to have a challenge group that is close niche so you can see these people. And that's why it's important to run a challenge group. Every single one of you in here should be running your own group, because you don't know the power that a woman coming in and starting her first program, because this is my story, this is how I got started, was I was looking for just results. I was not happy with myself. I signed up as a coach, but I didn't even know what coaching was. I was like, how am I going to be a coach if I am not even happy with my own results? Like, that's crazy. So I didn't see the vision of coaching right away, but I solely started Beachbody for the 21-day fix and to try a program. And so I use my own journey, and I know the power of getting a challenger results in 21 days and letting them fall in love with the program. It comes from their heart from that moment on. If you change their life by giving them self-confidence to look in the mirror and, helping them understand better eating, making them love their workouts and stuff like that, you could change their life, because that's how my life was changed. My life was changed in 21 days for the 21-day fix, because I had finally found what I was looking for. And I firmly believe that I completely helped my upline like no other, because little did she know that Haley coming in for the 21-day fix would be her next 5-star diamond coach a year later. So you just have to remember that when you get someone to say that they want to start these programs, that could be your next diamond coach. So make sure that you have a system or a rhythm, or how to help women coming in for a program, get them results, get them connected to a program, help them get results. I always suggest a 21-day fix, but if maybe you have a soulmate program, whatever it is, just make sure that you have a way to get them started, stay in close contact with them, have check-ins like every week, and just help them fall in love with the programs. Because the minute I see a woman in my challenge group posting all the time, sharing her results, I see a transformation post in my challenge group, and I immediately private message her and say, hey girl, you're killing it. And you are basically doing what I do as a coach. And I think it's time that you share what you love and you make some extra income out of it. You find some people to do it with you. I firmly see potential in you as a coach, and I would love to have you join the fun of my team. and usually 97% of the time they're like, okay. And then I have created a email and I just made a live video that talks about what I do as a coach in my story. And I just say, hey, how do you feel about me sending you a little coach info email and you can watch my video and see what you think? And they're like, sure, send it my way. I'll totally watch it. And then they watch it, and then I message them and say, hey, what did you think of the video? Do you want me to send you the coach basics and maybe you can go over that and we can have a one-on-one call? And then I have a one-on-one call with them and we talk about coaching and we get even closer on video on Zoom, and before you know it, they're coaching. So I've just found a lot of power in getting coaches through my challenge group, and by really getting my new people results right away and helping them fall in love like I fell in love. But that also stems back to everything Paige just said. I talk about coaching on Instagram behind the scenes. I talk about being able to I taught coaching. So then my challengers, when I say, hey, I think you'd make a great coach, they already know, yeah, I've kind of heard you talk about that, or I've kind of heard, or saw your post. I would totally be open to that opportunity, to whereas if I message them about coaching, they're like, wait, what is coaching? I've already breadcrumbed on my Instagram what coaching is. So then when I mention the word coaching, they're not totally like, what is she talking about? So just keep your eyes open for challengers who are killing it. Help them get results. And like Paige said, that's your pipeline to coaching. Use your challenge group to your benefit. And if you don't have a challenge group, I guess I shouldn't say this because I don't know how Paige does it with your downline and your challenge groups, but I firmly believe that my challenge group started with me and one other person. It was just me and her. And we were like, all right, let's do this program together. We're going to post our workouts, post our food, hold each other accountable. And we both got a transformation in 1 month. And we're like, okay, let's go find one more person to do the next round. And it just kept growing. So you can start a challenge group with you and one person. And if you don't have one person, there's your challenge. Go find one. And you and her get results. And before you know it, you're both going to be loving it and bringing people in. And it's just a full circle moment. So that is.
I want to point out how powerful the way you came to coaching is, because Haley and I go about it completely differently because of how we came to coaching. So whatever attracted you initially, whatever your coach story is, that's a really important part. I didn't want any part of a challenge group. I never even considered it for half a second. I wanted to make money. So that is why I go in hot. That's why I talk about money all the time, because that's what impacted me. And Haley has really nailed down getting her challengers to be coaches, which I currently in my business, that's where I'm trying to grow, is because I know how important that pipeline is. But the way you came in and whatever attracted you is probably also going to attract a tribe of women like you. So always talk about that. Always talk about what attracted you. And I guess really the last thing I would say is you, I'm sure, have some sort of limiting belief or fear or whatever. But when you start to let that hold you back, I want you to remind yourself of what you felt when I said, if this all disappeared tomorrow, if you never saw or spoke to one of these girls again, if you never had a chance to do a Beachbody workout ever again, where would you be? How would you feel? And let your passion and fire for what we have here, let that fuel your fire to send an invite. Because maybe if you didn't, that girl that you're holding it back from doesn't get to experience this either. And that's not even fair. We want all women to experience this community. It is by far one of, if not probably the best community of women I have ever been a part of. And I firmly believe that every woman on earth could benefit from being part of this. And you should believe that too, enough that you're willing to send out invites even when you feel fearful, even when you think it's scary. The worst thing that's going to happen is somebody might say something rude to you. But in my 2.5 years, I've had maybe one, and I don't care because she doesn't run my life. I have 1 million people that love me and support me. I'm not going to let the thought of a negative person online, how scary, hold me back from inviting people. So what questions do you have for us about attracting business builders or talking about coaching or coaching invites or sneak peeks? Oh, I was also going to say one more thing. With Haley's thing, inviting her current challengers to the coaching opportunity, that's another reason I find sneak peeks to be really helpful, because when I see that they are killing it in my challenge group, I go in with an invite to my sneak peek actually. And I say, hey, come learn more. If you're unsure about what coaching is, come learn more next Thursday. And they usually do. They usually want to do that.
And also, I just want one more thing. Always be willing to get uncomfortable, because I'm here to tell you guys, I've never ran a coach sneak peek. And Paige runs one, every week or every 2 weeks?
Every month.
But coming off of this call, by the way, girls, Team Proudly Empowering, there's going to be one in the future, like 2 weeks future, because I'm sitting here thinking, going, okay, this isn't comfortable for me. And that's why I've never ran one, because I'm that person that I don't, it looks hard to me, but I know it's doable, and I'm going to do it because I see how it's helping Paige. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to have to try it, and I'm going to fail forward with it. The only way I can grow is if I try. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work. But you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to try it. I'm going to put some ideas down, and you just have to try new things, get uncomfortable, and expand your, I don't know what the word is, but like leaders, what I saw like this quote the other day, and it was like, leaders are always trying harder things, because you just have to like always be willing to change. So yes, my system has worked, but there's no reason that I can't try another system on top of it. So I just wanted to point that out, that there's new ways and you can always try them, even though you have no idea. If you're sitting on this call going, oh my God, I don't know how I would ever run a sneak peek, I'm here with you, girl, but we're gonna try it. So
Yes, I love that. Always being willing to learn and getting out of your comfort zone, because I would say from what I've seen, this part of coaching is the most uncomfortable for people, but it is the single biggest thing that's going to make your income and business grow like wildfire. You don't know the joy of leading a team of women until you feel it. And it is the absolute best part of my business, is getting to lead Team Fit for More. I wouldn't change it for the world.